thousands of feet below the surface. A diver's camera caught something no one was supposed to see. Not a fish, not a shipwreck, something way stranger. And if he didn't hit record, no one would have believed him. From sunken cities to bizarre sea creatures, these underwater discoveries are beyond explanation. What else is hiding down there? These are the strangest things deep-sea divers have ever found, secrets the ocean never meant to give up. Get ready. This is the deep like you've never seen it before. The ocean is massive, dark, and full of secrets. It covers most of our planet, but we've only seen a small part of it. That's why divers often come back with wild stories, and sometimes even evidence. Imagine going underwater and finding something nobody expected, something that sounds too strange to be real, but there it is, captured on camera. One of the wildest discoveries happened deep in the Atlantic. Divers were part of a mission to locate parts of old rockets from the Apollo 11 mission that took humans to the moon. These massive engines were dumped into the sea after launch and thought to be lost forever. But decades later, a team led by Jeff Bezos found them nearly 14,000 feet down. The parts were broken and covered in ocean decay, but still recognizable. It was like finding a time machine at the bottom of the sea. Not far from that kind of high-tech history is something that feels more like a fantasy. Off the coast of Egypt, divers explored an area they believed held ruins. And they were right. They found the ancient city of Heraklion, once a major Egyptian port. It had been lost for over 2,000 years. Stone statues, coins, and temple walls were buried in the sand and water. People thought this city was just a myth. Turns out, it was real, and it had been sitting quietly under the sea all this time. Sometimes it's not cities or rockets, but something that looks like it came out of a sci-fi movie. Divers in the Baltic Sea came across a huge round object lying on the seabed. Its shape reminded people of the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars. What made it even stranger was that electronic equipment started glitching near it. Some said it was an alien ship. Others believed it was a natural formation. But the truth is, nobody can explain it for sure. Other times, the ocean gives us chilling stories. In Indonesia, divers were exploring the clear waters around a quiet island. What they found wasn't treasure or ruins. It was two dugongs, a mother and her baby, trapped in underwater cages. They were being held there to entertain tourists. Their tails were chained, and they looked terrified. The divers who found them posted the images online. Thanks to public outrage, wildlife officials showed up and forced the release. But without the divers, these sea creatures might still be locked up. These underwater discoveries show that the ocean hides things no one ever expected. And while some of them are exciting or mysterious, others are shocking in ways we wish weren't true. But just when you think you've seen it all, the next dive reveals something even stranger. Not every strange find in the ocean is ancient or mysterious. Some are just unbelievable, like a plane from World War II resting quietly on the seafloor. It was an old fighter jet that had to make an emergency landing in the ocean back in 1948. The pilot survived, but the aircraft sank. Years later, a team of divers found it. The plane was still mostly intact, but nature had taken over. Coral and sea life had claimed it. It became a home for fish, and even a dive site for experienced divers. It's like history frozen in time, right there underwater. Now imagine diving and seeing what looks like a crop circle, not in a field, but in the sand below. This happened near Japan. Divers saw perfect circular patterns on the seabed and were stunned. At first, no one could figure out how they got there. But after some time, a hidden camera revealed the artist, a tiny pufferfish. These little fish created the shapes to impress potential mates. The more perfect the pattern, the better their chances. Later, similar shapes showed up near Australia, opening up more questions. Was it the same species, or another fish doing the same thing? Even the smallest ocean creatures are full of surprises. Sometimes the sea hides giants. Deep down, jellyfish can grow to shocking sizes. One kind, called the lion's mane jellyfish, is especially massive. It can have tentacles over 100 feet long, drifting quietly through cold waters. These creatures aren't aggressive, but their long arms can sting. And getting tangled in one isn't something a diver wants to experience. Some of these jellyfish are so big, it's hard to believe they're real until you see one. Another amazing find looks like a river flowing underwater. In Mexico, there's a place where the water layers are so different in salt levels that it creates what looks like an actual river, running below the surface. This illusion is caused by how the water settles in layers, with heavier, salty water sinking. The result? Divers are swimming in what seems like two separate water worlds. You can see the river cutting through the water, even though everything around it is still underwater. Just when you think the sea has shown all its secrets, it surprises you again. From fighter planes to silver treasure, nature's illusions to giant creatures, every dive holds a story. And some of those stories are so strange, you wouldn't believe them unless someone caught them on camera. Some discoveries under the sea look like they belong in a movie. Near the Bahamas, divers found what looked like a perfectly built road under the ocean. Big stone blocks were lined up in a straight path, stretching for half a mile. People called it the Bimini Road. At first glance, it looked like humans had made it long ago. Some even believed it was proof of a lost civilization, maybe even Atlantis. But after years of study, most experts think it's just a natural rock formation shaped by nature. Still, it's strange how the stones are so evenly placed. It makes you wonder if nature really did that on its own. One of the most chilling discoveries came from a cave in Mexico. Divers exploring deep underwater tunnels found a human skull, later confirmed to be around 12,000 years old. It belonged to a young girl and is now known as one of the oldest human remains found in the Americas. Along with her bones, the team found tools and other objects that told the story of an early civilization. What's eerie is how well everything was preserved, almost untouched by time. It showed how people lived, struggled, and survived thousands of years ago. Another breathtaking sight came from deep under a lake in China. There, an ancient city called Lion City sits perfectly preserved beneath the water. Buildings, arches, and carvings all remain in place. The city was flooded on purpose in the 1950s to make room for a dam project. People forgot it even existed until it was rediscovered decades later. Now it's a destination for brave divers who want to swim through history. The city feels like time stopped the day it was buried underwater. In the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, divers came across something unexpected, an old shipwreck filled with silver coins. The ship was called the SS City of Cairo, and it sank during World War II after a German submarine attacked it. More than 300 people were on board, and while many survived, the cargo was lost for decades. That cargo wasn't just supplies. It included thousands of boxes filled with silver coins meant to support the British war effort. The ship lay deep beneath the surface, over 17,000 feet underwater. For a long time, people didn't even know where it had gone down. Then, in a massive underwater search mission, experts finally found it using robotic submersibles. What they discovered was incredible. Millions of dollars in silver still packed in boxes at the bottom of the sea. And these are just a few of the stories the ocean hides. There's always something new to uncover, waiting in the deep.